Drivers, start your engines!
See plenty of carnage, full head on them, wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy.
It's a junkyard.
He spends too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas, gotta hang up here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job.
10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bullshit. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, I'm ain't racing no.
What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots.
I don't care. Let me drive.
What is he doing?
This is embarrassing. What a clown show.
Did you ever think you would see that?
How did that just happen? Holy cow! Let's go!
Oh, is it over? Oh, sorry, I fell asleep there.
They're crabs! I wanna go to bed!
We survived the clash. What a nightmare this night was, and it was intriguing, but in some of the worst ways a NASCAR race could possibly be. Welcome to NWP tonight here on DannyBTalks. You're getting the most raw and uncut NWP we could ever give you, because this is also our immediate post-race reaction show all in one. This is Jarrett's post-race stream. This is Eric's Out of the Groove, all in one big shenanigan here tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Woo-hoo!
I've never heard shenanigan used in the singular form. This was one gigantic shenanigan.
Exactly.
Tonight.
This was a shenanigan.
From lap 101 to now. And yes, for our listening audience who may be catching us the next day, the checkered flag flew like 5 minutes ago. Ryan Priest just wrapped up his very emotional Victory Lane interview. Notice no front stretch interview. I don't know if they cut it for time or if that's an actual new initiative. They're moving everything back to Victory Lane this year, but worth noting, traditional Victory Lane interview.
But yeah, we're going back to our roots.
I want to say this first and foremost before we get going. Lap 0 to 100 was a genuine great race. I don't want that to get lost in all this. It wasn't until the sleet that hit it halfway that really ruined this night. And I also want to say this. What has NASCAR done to deserve the bad weather luck with their special events in recent years? From the inaugural COTA race being a borderline flash flood to record-setting rain at Chicago, the last year in LA got washed out by a monsoon. How does that happen in Southern California? And now Bowman Gray, year 2, we get snow delaying it 3 days, sleet, ice tonight. What the hell? Like, come on. Like, how does this keep happening?
Well, and it's not even like the big ones too. It's any time there's like a big hype with a race
that they try something race. New. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, like I think the last time that they had some big hype up for a race that I can remember, where everyone is excited, and it was people at the track were excited, people at home were excited, and it didn't get ruined by some kind of weather event. I think had to have been when North Wilkesboro came back.
Yeah.
When we were there.
That was pretty smooth. That one was pretty smooth. Yeah.
Like, but oh my God, Eric, I forgot though, because I remember now you, me, and Slap had to go off to a random parking lot at one point because it started raining right before cars were supposed to go on track on race day that day. So never mind.
There was some weather that weekend. You're right. But okay, maybe this year. This year they get a points race. This is an earthquake's going to hit Wilkes County in July. I'm calling it now.
I'm so scared now for Chicagoland because I'm like,
volcano's going to erupt in Joliet, Illinois.
well, and last year was the one where we got so lucky. All 3 series for I think the first time since the truck series was implemented, all 3 series weren't rained out to the next day at any point. Weren't having some huge delay. Like, other than maybe like an hour, I think, at Las Vegas for trucks or something. And then we get Snowmageddon in the South the entire 2 weeks before.
Jarrett, didn't the last Chicagoland race when Bowman won, wasn't there a tornado literally in the background at one point?
Yes. Yeah, I remember seeing it from turn 4. So, but
I'm calling it now. the week before San Diego this summer is going to be the week California finally slides into the ocean. It's going to happen. We're paying the price for a perfect 2025.
Like this race to me, like what's so difficult and almost painful about it is like you're right. The first 100 laps were so fun. You could see a difference year over year between the new tire compound, between the 750 horsepower and them locking up the brakes a lot more and having issues. And you could see a noticeable difference as the runs went on. The tires were much quicker into the run, which makes me hopefully, if we can do maybe apples to apples for some of the other short tracks, can get me excited for that. And then it was like, as soon, I am not a subscriber of the Vortex belief, but man, they're making a big push on it. I mean, I think Byron even brought that up, but as soon as the halftime break happened, we start getting sleet, snow, and it was just like a back and forth. Like it started just so far on the end of just absurd and dumb that it got really funny. Then there was like 30 laps there where they actually started racing pretty decently again. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're getting into a rhythm. And then it just swung back. Like the moment that I knew the race jumped the shark is when Larson ran out of gas.
Yeah, that was the moment. This was like, okay, this is the memeiest of all meme races we can possibly get to. And we're only in week 0. This isn't even week 1. This is week 0 of NASCAR.
We're only a week away from Speedweek.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Okay, I have looked at the weather for Daytona. So far, it actually looks mostly okay, but you never know. It's Daytona.
The way too early weather prediction from our NWP meteorologist, Jeff Vorick, seems to be favorable. We might talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I'll just go ahead and I want to say this, and before then, and then we'll get talking a little bit about the actual winner of this race. But here's my thoughts. We knew going into this last year, this was always a possibility. We joked, oh, what if it'll snow or something like that? We got it. And it turned out to be a nightmare. It delayed the race for multiple days later, and it just so happened to work out. There's more moisture in the air tonight. We got sleet at a NASCAR race for the first time that I can. Well, no, it's not the first time. It was like sleeting and snowing at Bristol in a Busch Series race one year, like 06 or something like that.
Yep.
But this was just the most chaotic race you could ask for. I want to see how Dover is as an all-star venue first, but my early thoughts are get Dover back into a points race, give Bowman Gray the all-star race. I think the racing would work in a warmer, maybe dry climate, but maybe either move this back to Daytona or put us at New Smyrna, the Freedom Factory, do something, get us in the Sunshine State.
I will say, if it didn't rain, I honestly think we would have had an amazing night all around. Maybe I think it probably would have got crazy at the end just because somebody would have pushed the issue and caused a caution that kind of cascaded.
Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar in the top 5. Something was going to happen at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, there's promise here. At the same time, like I said it in my video about the Clash. I'm honestly, I'm cool wherever it goes. Like tonight, I think was as far to the madhouse mad we got. I'd be cool if it went to Daytona, Freedom Factory, stayed at Bowman Gray, went to Brazil. I know they're building an oval track in Brazil, so like that actually might be what is going to be going on in the future. But like for the Clash, I'm honestly, I'm Team Chaos to a degree, and I think we just went a little past that tonight. But I got to say, I'm happy for Priest. I'm really happy for Priest tonight. He balled out that last quarter of the race. Those restarts he was putting on, say what you want about the Calamity, but those restarts were top tier at the end of this race.
Yeah. SVG and Hocevar there for a little bit. They were all looking really good at what they were doing. But Ryan Priest, it's not a points paying race, but it is his very first win in the NASCAR Cup Series, cannot take that away from him whatsoever. And remember, it wasn't even that many years ago we saw him out of the Cup Series. He was taking a few part-time rides here and there in the Truck Series, partnered up with Kevin Harvick's team, got to run some for David Gillen Racing, which is now Tricon. It was it was a good journey to watch him get back to the Cup Series and get into quality equipment. Stewart-Haas Racing, you remember not even that long ago, him and Chase Briscoe were teammates, and then him and Chase Briscoe were battling it out in a good majority of this race. And ultimately, if there was anyone that was meant to win this race, it is someone who grew up in the chaotic nightmare that is Northeast modified short track racing, and that is Ryan Preece. This was the perfect guy to win a race like this.
And I know I think a couple of us even pegged him as our dark horse last week on the show for that reason. He was, I think, 10th or 11th here last year in this race, and it was his first run with RFK Racing. So year 2, more experience combined with his short flat track experience like that he was a popular dark horse pick. I just want to say, I think the three of us have been pretty high on Preece for a long time. I remember when he went to Stewart-Haas, there are fans in my mentions. Really? The guy who finished last 3 races in a row that one stretch with JTG Doherty Racing, that guy's getting a Stewart-Haas. And then when Stewart-Haas fell through and Roush Keselowski picked him up, really? That guy who's never won a race, he's usually flying through the air into the that guy. Like, there are a lot of fans out there who don't know what Ryan Preece is all about. They forget about him taking a chance on himself, and they alluded to this at the end of the broadcast tonight. He went and ran select races in top equipment in Xfinity like 10 years ago and won a couple of races on a part-time schedule.
JGR, don't forget that.
And you just point out, Danny, yeah, he's won a couple of races in the trucks on part-time. Like, when he's gotten into great equipment in the past, he's won.
Wasn't there a stretch of time where he was like undefeated in the truck series because he was just every time he'd go down there, he'd dominate?
He ran Nashville Super Speedway like twice and won them both.
I think he won it back-to-back years. Yeah, so that's my point. Is like he'd never been in great Cup Series equipment. He's still not really in great Cup equipment. This is probably the best car he's been in. And sure enough, last year he was top 20 in points. This year he shows up week 1, exhibition race, was pretty fast in the dry, extremely fast in the wet, gets the win. He's not going to win the championship. RFK Racing, I don't think, is capable of putting together a championship season at this point. But Ryan Preece is a bad, bad dude. And I think there are a lot of casual fans out there who just don't realize it. They see the highlights of him flipping wildly through the air and think that's all he is. No, he is much more than that, and he showed some of that tonight. So I'm happy for Ryan Preece that he really gets, I know it's just an exhibition, but you could tell how much it meant to him. And I'm glad he gets his moment. I was about to say his moment in the sun, but there's no sunshine in Bowman Gray right now. It's dark and just despair.
I'm kind of spoiling my Chase predictions for a little bit later. But even before tonight, I had Ryan Preece in my Chase 16. I think he's good enough to make the Chase this year.
I know I had him in the now. Did you have him in the Chase, Jared? I know I did.
Yep.
I think we all did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've all been pretty high on Preece because we see the potential. And tonight he showed the people who haven't seen it what he can do.
Well, and again, while the clash, whether it be at Daytona Coliseum, Daytona Road Course, or here, it's not necessarily indicative, I would say, a 1-to-1 and how people will be during the year. It can set the tone. Like they mentioned on the broadcast, Preece joins Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin as now the 3rd driver to get their first win after winning the Clash, if he gets that win, I should say. But getting a win in the Clash before getting their first Cup win in a points race. And we've saw the tone set there. We've seen the tone set for others in the past winning this race and racing really well in this race as well. So I'm hoping for his sake there is that kind of push of momentum that I think last year he definitely really needed from the jump. This year, like, he can actually build on it. Like last year he needed the momentum starting out, or at least in the first half of the season, just to get to a competitive state. This year, I believe that they can actually build on it, having another year built up, now having, all 3 of those teams running pretty well at the end of last year. I'm interested. I don't think that RFK is necessarily a championship winning team right now. But I can't say that I don't think that anyone from that team can't finish top 10 in points by the end of the year, which in my opinion nowadays with this format is much more impressive than it would have been the last couple of years for this team.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Roush could get a couple cars in that top 10 in points. Why not Preece? You mentioned how well they finished last year, 5 straight top 15s to end the 2025 season, and now a win in the preseason exhibition race. So going back to the last month of last year, there are not many drivers hotter than Ryan Preece right now, honestly.
Yep. I'm seeing people talk about the broadcast a little bit. And I think we should, because I don't know about you guys, but I honestly thought that Fox did not perfect by any means. It's not prime, not even NBC, but I thought Fox did a way better job in this race with the situation at hand than it probably would have done the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I thought the booth was okay. I actually thought, so I tuned in for practice and qualifying when it was on, the app. I watched that, and oh gosh, Boyer and Harvick, they were rusty. They cleaned it up. By the time the main event came around, I'm watching it on my TV now, they were sharp. I thought they were pretty good, especially by their standards. I thought Mike Joy, you can tell he's getting a little older, but he tried. He's bringing the juice, and still, like, off rip, he can rattle off a half a dozen facts about the track, about whoever's leading. Like, he's like the godfather of the garage. It's like he's known all these drivers and crew members since they were little kids. He knows their whole life story. It's fascinating. So he's still pretty good. Camera cuts were a little sluggish. I'm not going to blame the audio mixing this year because there weren't as many fans in the stands. So I'm not upset that we couldn't hear them being rowdy like last year. I will give Fox credit for sticking it out through the weather as long as they did. I know they cut to FS2 for the finish because, what was it called? Fear Factor, House of Fear, Death Fear, something like that.
Masked Singer on Fear Factor. Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. It was Masked Singer. Then I knew it was them back to back. They kept promoting it. Like, I get it. There's a lot of boomers out there that watch those shows. They have it TiVo, DVR'd. You can't overlap it too much. I understand why Fox had to get off the air eventually. They stuck with us longer than I thought they would, to be honest. It sucks to move it to FS2, but I mean, business is business
because college basketball is on FS1. So
yeah, it's brutal. It sucks, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to rip Fox apart for it this time because these were very extenuating circumstances. So
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think people in there are saying, when I say I think they did better, that I think they're good right now. Like, I don't think they're at a good level. Like, I see it best, but when you've had like the lowest of the F tier with the Artie Kempner broadcasts, and you get a little bit better, I will praise getting better. I will say, I think having Josh Sims as the pre-race host, way better decision than having Chris Myers. I hope they stick with that for the Daytona 500, that duo at least. But yeah, I will say, like, you could definitely hear the old Mike Joy voice, and maybe he's sick, but it was like, he sounded old tonight, which is kind of made me sad because I've been rewatching races on Vody's channel all off season from like 2007 to like 2010, I think he has. And it is kind of crazy just how different, because you don't think about it year over year. But I'll take any improvement from Fox at this point. And I think that we can be quick to rip on the bad. We should be good to also say that things have gotten at least marginally better. And
I thought no Clint cartoons. Boyer, I thought Clint Boyer, no cartoon. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. I was going to say, I thought Clint Boyer actually was an analyst for a lot. He did. I counted at least 3 or 4 hot rod mentions. He had a few Boyerisms in there, but I actually thought there were a few moments where he was actually playing the role of analyst and taking it fairly seriously. So I appreciated that.
I actually felt like you actually need to send him a bill for how many times he mentioned Out of the Groove tonight.
Cha-ching. I should be paying him for all the mentions.
Well, yeah, actually, no, yeah, you should be expecting a bill for how much he plugged you. I kept hearing Out of the Groove like so many times tonight.
I know. I need to start like clipping those every single time and put them into like a montage or make it part of my intro in the future.
Just basically do what the NASCAR account does.
I need their editor. Whoever's editing that, I need them to, clean it up a little and just hunt down all the Out of the Groove mentions.
Yeah, I will say I liked too that it didn't seem like Harvick was bullying Boyer all broadcast, which was nice. Maybe it's just that we didn't have the damn cartoons, like I was saying. Like, maybe that made me just a little more overjoyed than I probably should have been. But like, I'm just so glad that they actually looked the part of a serious broadcast. Their graphics package isn't that bad. It's just They, it's like they had a nice cake, and instead of putting chocolate icing on it, they just put mud on top of it. And they're like, it looks good enough. And now it's like, okay, that's looks like a normal broadcast.
You got to remember, hey, we actually take this sport seriously a little bit. Let's not be like that Mobile One commercial where you had Kevin Harvick standing there seriously while Clint Boyer's over there dancing and doing whatever. It's a tiny Clint Boyer on the shelf.
Classic.
But I mean,
should we mention a few other drivers? Like in the dry, I don't want to, like, you can't, even if this race had run 200 laps in the dry and it was a straight up race, I don't think you can take too much from the clash at Bowman Gray. It's such a unique track. But, I did take note of Ryan Blaney once again had tremendous long run speed in the first half, drove from like 16th to 3rd or 4th.
Yep.
I took note of Chase Briscoe. At the beginning of the race, it was kind of Hendrick holding down the fort until Chase Briscoe said, I'm really damn good still. Finished last year as good as anyone. I'm going to go take the lead for a little while. I thought that was noteworthy. And the young guns, Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar, I know they got wrecked late. I think they both finished outside the top 10. But in the wet and the dry, they were mainstays in that top 5 for a long, long time. Hocevar was bullying guys, and eventually it bit him with Bubba Wallace. But to their credit, they were up front for a long, long time. And Connor Zilich, the rookie, making his Bowman Gray Clash debut, not only qualified in the top 20, good for him there, but actually drove up to 12th in the dry by the halfway point. I mean, we saw last year with SVG, same team, was a top 10 threat most of the night, and that surprised us. I was pleasantly surprised to see Zilich hold his own as well as he did. But those are just some guys I wanted to single out. I don't know if y'all had anything to add.
I think JGR was the most well-rounded team tonight, whereas Hendrick had the best short run speed. Like they fell off a cliff after about 40 laps or so. Like Byron fell back, then Larson did. Of course, when you get to the wets, it just, throw them in a blender. But it seemed like the JGR team, the entire team was ascending to the front, and it was led by Briscoe and Gibbs. Hamlin kind of close behind. It seemed like Bell was the 4th JGR car tonight. But in the dry, he was still like what, 5th or 6th?
In there somewhere.
Like it's not bad.
Real quick, I want to Daniel Suarez. I think he now gets back-to-back top 5s. I think he was in the top 5 here last year. He finishes 4th. Austin Dillon coming in 7th in this one. Chris Buescher, teammate of Ryan Preece, he comes home 8th. Ross Chastain starts 9th, finishes 9th. Actually, Chris Buescher also started 8th, finished 8th. And William Byron started 2nd, finishes 2nd. Alex Bowman comes in from starting dead last in 23rd. He gets a top 10 and 10th place. But going back to Hamlin, he started 6th, finished 5th. Really just had an up and down day with him. He would have problems. He would overcome it. And maybe just everything we've seen, maybe that perseverance is going to be the narrative for Hamlin for this year. He's had the most awful off season, just to be blunt about it, that anyone could ever have. Actually, just recently saw that he had tweaked his shoulder and fell in rubble at his parents' house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now he's re-aggravated an injury he had surgery on 2 years ago.
He's going to elect to not have surgery on it, just let it naturally heal, he said.
Yeah, I was just checking my notes. Denny spun out twice in the second half of this race and still finished 5th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, yeah, like you said, perseverance, that's what it's going to take. I mean, I thought it was interesting in his press conference today. He said that he'd been at the shop once since Phoenix. So he's kind of just muscle memory.
He's been too busy with anything else to be there.
I mean, yes. And I don't think anyone's blaming him. Like if anyone's earned the right to sort of take this season at their own pace, it's Denny Hamlin, considering what he's been through, considering how good and experienced he is. Like, I think once the season gets into full swing, I don't think it'll take him long to, for lack of a better phrase, play himself back into shape.
Yeah.
But tonight alone, ice cold, gets in the car, comes back to finish 5th despite multiple setbacks. Like, he's still Denny Hamlin. He's going to be really good this year, I think. Just hope mentally he's in a as good a place as he can be.
Well, not to cut the conversation short, but just because of how late that we started, I feel like if there's anything else we need to say about this race, that's pretty much it for my end.
I'm good. I mean,
I have a poll. It's not going to
Sure.
have the sample
Well,
size
let's-
we usually do, but
Let's hear your poll, but let me just go ahead and end our fun live one we did in the chat and see how it compares to your poll too, if you don't
This is
care.
fun. We're having fun.
yeah. I can't see it on my end just because I'm on the studio side of it, but
Yeah.
I will. You read it off, and then I'll read mine off.
So the live chat, just since we had the unique chance to poll you right after the race, 37% said it was good, 23% said it was average, 23% also said it was negative, and 17% said it was a great race. So the lowest is actually that it was great.
Yeah, because it wasn't a great race.
No.
So on my end, so far we've had a little over 1,000 vote. 15% said great, 47% say good, so 62% net positive, 15 average, 23 negative.
Wow.
First comment was from Calypso. I'm shocked.
Very
But basically asking if we NASCAR fans missed her, and that was her cousin Winterbolt that was hell bent on canceling it.
Well,
I need to do a
tried.
Mother Nature skit tomorrow.
Top comment from I think Jeremy here says, even though this doesn't count as a win, I will still consider this a first-time winner. Congratulations, Priest. He breaks the number 60 curse. Also, this is what happened when you run at Bowman Gray. So
is this is Roush's first win, I think, since Busher Watkins Glen? Is that right?
Darlington wasn't more recent.
When was Bush? Was Busher's in? Busher's was 2024. Yeah, so I think it would have been Busher, Watkins Glen, because Kozlowski was the spring.
Yeah. You're right.
So it's been over a year. Been about
Yeah.
18 months, probably more than 18 months since RFK last won a Cup race.
But to be fair, last year they were getting used to having 3 cars. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do at Daytona, having 4 cars out there actually.
Yeah.
So Matt 8000 says when they were racing, it was good. Unfortunately, they didn't do much racing in the second half. Congrats, Priest. Hope you can get a real dub later this year. Dingo Overlord also says RFK winning for the Biff. So
hey, that's a great point. Also, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if RFK wins the first 2 races of the year. I could see one of those Fords winning the Daytona 500.
GRB highlights saying this might have been one of the wackiest races I've ever witnessed. It's like if you and your friends went go-kart racing, but instead of go-karts, it was professional racing series.
The last time we ever had to have a Wednesday show immediately after a race was Texas 2020, when it kept getting delayed for days and days and days because of the mist, when Kyle Busch won his only race of 2020.
6 years, man. That was like a millennium ago.
I don't even remember. I don't even think Eric was on that show. We aired our interview with Jimmy Johnson that week.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
I think you were on that Wednesday, but we were on the interview.
You weren't on.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I was in a hotel room in Connecticut or New Hampshire or something like that.
That's
right. Yeah, because I didn't stay I wasn't living, and I live now like 45 minutes from the track. At the time, I was living hours away, so I didn't stay through Wednesday for the race, which I was glad to. I remember watching the start of when they finally restart on Wednesday. I was watching. I think I was out actually. I was like watching on my phone, and like 5 laps in, my poor guy, washed up Matt Kenseth wipes out like 5 laps after a 72-hour delay, and I said, Matt, at least you waited until I wasn't in person to see it. So.
Ross Crash Stain says trouble turn 3
and 4 and 1 and 2.
Let's see. I'm trying to get down to the bottom here because we already have 117 comments. Let's see. I think I can read the gutter comments so far.
Give us a gutter comment.
Brady says was not able to watch the finish. With the crying
That's just
emoji.
a fact for many people.
Yep.
Fern Does Stuff says too many cautions, good in the rain, but too many cautions. And Justin says a bit average. Before they switched to FS2, I was able to watch this and my NHL team, the Florida Panthers, play in multi-view, which made it worth watching. Also, screw Mother Nature.
Dang. Wow. I want to mention what I don't want to gloss over this. I don't know if I haven't, we're not on Twitter right now. I don't know if there's any other quotes coming out, but the decision to let the field pit for fuel, I know based on reading what I was saying, Briscoe's team, James Small, was pissed because it sounds like they packed it full of fuel when the day started, while a lot of teams like Larson's especially, they tried to play games, not fill it full of fuel. And they were arguing, well, hey, that's the risk they took. They should, have to pay that price. But NASCAR let everybody pit for fuel. Like, I don't know. It's an exhibition race, so I guess we're not going to care that much. But, if that doesn't happen, if they don't make that rule change, Ryan Preece probably doesn't win this race, and Chase Briscoe probably does. Where did Briscoe finish? Third, fourth? No, we're sixth. Okay, maybe somebody ahead of Briscoe could have made it, but if they don't let him pit for fuel there, Ryan Preece does not win this race most likely, and perhaps Chase Briscoe does. So I don't know. I feel like that's at least worth mentioning, because if I'm a diehard Briscoe fan, I'm pissed right now. I'm like, oh my God, we played this right and they changed the rules on us. What the hell? So I do at least want to do our due diligence and mention that.
On principle, I do agree with that, and I think James Small is right. On the other end, though, the precedent for non-points races and just kind of tomfoolery with the rules, I think, and maybe it was set before this, I think was set in 2001 when they let a bunch of people get their backup cars at the All-Star race, even though they all crashed.
That's true. That was an exhibition as well. Yeah. So they kind of just make it up.
So it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. In my opinion, where I get more upset is when they call a caution so everybody can put on slicks or put on the wet tires, when I think they should just leave that up for the teams during points races. Like, you figure it out in your own time when you do that. So I'd be more upset if it were like a points race, but it's an exhibition. I mean, the race itself, I think at that point they're just like, we can't keep having cautions for guys running out of fuel.
I think so. It was break glass in case of emergency, and this was an emergency.
I really thought at one point they were just going to say, hey, we're lowering this to 180 laps just to get this over with.
We're counting caution laps. I would have been okay with counting caution laps.
I thought they might do single file restarts. Not sure that would have fixed the problem, but it's helped in the past. I thought that was coming.
Didn't they do that at LA one year because it was getting too crazy?
They might have.
They did it one.
They did it Bristol Dirt and Coda.
Bristol Dirt, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I remember at the one at Coda, because I was all excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is the first one of these I've seen in like 15 years. But if they're gonna go back to Bowman Gray next year, which I think that's probably gonna be the conversation this week, is like, should we go back on that and that and that? If they go back next year, can we at least count the caution laps? At least in the final stage, like maybe in the last 20 laps, you don't count them, just if you want a green finish or something like that. But
sure,
it was a problem in LA. It's been a problem in Bowman Gray. It's an easy thing we can fix. Can we please fix it? Like, that's where I'm at.
Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of racing at Bowman Gray. I would just prefer it as the all-star race, I feel like.
I think it would work well as an all-star. Definitely be better weather. You're just so limited as to where you can go this time of year. And I don't want Daytona. I just don't. I don't want to see another next-gen car super speedway race. Unless it's Atlanta.
The idea of a 5-flag speedway or New Smyrna. Probably New Smyrna because it's much closer to Daytona.
I'd be open to Daytona just because the summer race last year showed a smaller pack, and Atlanta also showed this. A smaller pack with this package can actually race better and have better runs. The other part for me is, and even if you have to use this as a test session, like, we're 5 years in and the super speedway package has gotten a bit better at Daytona and Talladega. I would be fine using the Clash as a test session to try and like get stuff better before the 500 at this point. Like, we're 5 years into the Gen 6 era. Was 2018 about to go to 2019, and they knocked it out of the park with that 2019 package. So it's like, we're getting to the point, like, let's actually get this fixed. Let's we're getting to there with the short track and road course. I'd be cool sacrificing the Clash for 2 or 3 years if it meant fixing super speedway racing to get it to where we were at the end of the Gen 6 era. Like that I'd be okay with.
If I knew it would work, I'd be willing to make that same trade-off. The last 2 or 3 years of Daytona Clash were just, the stands were mostly empty. There were still weather issues because it is still right there on the coast. It's rain. It's not snow, but there's still rain. It's just, I don't know. It felt redundant. I'm like, you're already going to see small field super speedway racing Thursday night. Then you got I don't know. Yeah, if we knew we could get the racing better, I'd be open to it. But as long as the super speedway racing is what it is, it's just kind of fluky. I don't know. I'd rather them stick to short tracks unless they want to try Atlanta. But Atlanta, you might run into similar weather issues as you have here in Bowman.
Yeah,
Gray.
because
I
it
don't
can
know.
also get snow down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a NASCAR ISC date too, so it's like, would you switch the All-Star
Yeah,
race?
That's true. I mean, that's true. You probably can't
So-
do
so-
an SMI track.
The biggest problem is just the weather at this point. I would say, like, I think that's the biggest problem with the event is it really limits where you can go with this event right now. You can go to California, Florida, or freeze in the Carolinas and Southeast. Like
If
that's about it.
ISC / Bowman Gray took the All-Star race, Dover gets added in as another points race, and it takes away one ISC points race, most likely. I think that would be the sacrifice they would agree to. Then SMI would get one more points race.
It'd be complicated. I have to look at that. I'd have to look
Yeah.
at a chart. I got to see the schedule to start piecing it
It'd probably
together,
just
but-
be easier to trade the Clash and All-Star race for a year, do a back and forth. Maybe a back and forth would be good if they want to rotate it. I
Dover
guess.
Clash.
We are bringing the snowmobiles for that one.
Yeah,
I feel like if Dover became a points race again and they had to make some weird sacrifice, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like this. We would either lose a Darlington or a Martinsville race, most likely.
It's probably a Darlington race at this rate.
I don't like that. That
We
doesn't
might
make
lose a
me
Darlington
happy.
race. We might lose a Darlington race, regardless at this rate, though. Like that's true. I don't like it. I'm not. Don't shoot the
We
messenger.
already don't have throwback
Hey,
race now,
there is
so
no message. You're fear mongering, Jared. I don't like this. I don't like you putting this
welcome to
negative
the
energy into the space.
Fear-mongering weekly podcast, everybody.
Some call it fear mongering. Others call it reckless speculation.
Well, we ain't gonna have no TV ratings because it just freaking happened. We'll tell you next week what this was like. We just did the poll, so I guess how about a super chat stage break?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you guys have been extremely generous tonight. Greatly do appreciate that. Appreciate everyone watching right now. Appreciate all your support. Appreciate y'all staying up this late with us. As we got 745 concurrent viewers, 745 people with who don't want to go to bed after this. So hello, you're having a late night. Let's get going from the very beginning. Got to scroll up a good ways. Jeffrey King, appreciate you starting us off tonight with $1.99. I see potential this package. I think we do too. I think we kind of all established that we're seeing some potential out of this one, Jeffrey. Palm Tree 82, appreciate the $5 from you. And no matter how this race turns out, huge props to everyone involved who got this track ready and the race in. Also for Danny, steam, turbine, or diesel. Well, I do like a good steam locomotive when you get a chance to see one, but because of the era I grew up in and what I see today, it's hard for me to beat seeing a good old diesel freight train. Jeffrey King, appreciate $1.99 from you. Halftime, watch the 77 late. 77 wasn't there in the late. Alex Left, appreciate the $10 from you. I would never hope for another engine being scrapped, the playoffs being scrapped on the other wheel. I have no such compunction. Take that, Shills, especially you, Jar Jar Voldemort and Father Christmas. Alex Love, appreciate another $10 from you. Get this 1 year. Father Christmas gave me lumps of coal for being naughty, yet he forgot I rely on that. It was good coal to like filet mignon. Oh, I think Alex Love is actually cosplaying as Gordon, the Big Blue Engine. I see. That's why I hate the at thing, because I couldn't get the joke that he's being Gordon.
Dang.
Jeffrey King, $5 from you. I am so angry they really took it off and put the Masked Singer on. Really can't watch the end. TVP, appreciate the $5. Jarrett, play the sound.
Oh, I gotta scroll down and get it.
He was in.
I wanna go to bed!
Oh, T. Dotson, appreciate the $2. People actually like this dump of a track. I like the track, but this tonight was a mess. I don't like it when it's a slip and slide.
Slip slide away.
Jeffrey King, another $5. Appreciate it, Jeffrey. I am disappointed in Fox Sports is always superior. I'm disappointed in Fox. A sport is always superior. But
I'm sure
Granny
Johnny
needs to
Knoxville
watch
would-
that Masked Singer. I need to see I Show Speed show up in that mask tonight.
Is that who's in the mask
I
tonight?
have no clue who's in that. It's probably Dale Earnhardt Jr. for all we know.
And Brian Vickers, that's for sure.
Oops. So moving on. Vermonter, appreciate the $5 from you. If it was a stick and ball sport, they wouldn't swap it off of Fox. Yeah. Tell the Chiefs and Rams, we're gonna take your game off for Masked Singer and see what happens. Vermonter, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Thoughts on putting the Clash back to just previous year pole winners and Clash winners? This just feels like glorified all-star race. I do kind of agree with that. I did always like how the Bud Shootout was meant for previous pole winners, and I think it was people who had won a Daytona 500. Always did enjoy that. And low-key, when they did it that way, I kind of enjoyed. I saw a clip of it recently on X. I enjoyed the show they did back when Budweiser sponsored it, where they would come out and pull out a random Budweiser bottle and pull out a flag and say, here's where I'm starting. That was actually pretty fun back in the day. Some of the things we lost back in the Speed Channel days.
I do like the heat races when they get to do them though. So I don't hate the way it's structured now either.
I'm going to do 4 more and then we'll end. Braden, appreciate the $10 from you. Hey, NWP, longtime Spotify listener that gets to tune in live for a change. Thoughts on my bold prediction that all 3 RFK cars make the chase. Funny enough, I think Brad K is the one to worry about. I would agree with you. Not a spoiler, I've got 2 of the 3 RFK cars in, not Brad. Surprisingly. That's not to say I don't think Brad couldn't win a race this year. Just don't know if he can be consistent this year.
I think it's bold, but I don't think it's out of the question. I think if Brad didn't have this leg injury worrying me, I'd probably pick all 3 Roush cars to make the chase.
Palm 382, appreciate the $2. Looks like Fox and Hocevar kept the same playbook. Same as last year.
Yep.
Below the apron, appreciate the $5. Don't blame weather, but this beats Daytona 2020 Clash as the worst Clash by far. At least we had more cars at the end.
They're very similar in the sense that the first half of that 2020 Clash was actually not that bad. Like, it was better than the year before by like a deal, and then it just went to hell.
Joshua Boston, appreciate the generous $20 from you, Joshua. I have had it. Between the delay, Mike Backley not VMRN tonight, and the embarrassment of the racing product tonight, I don't know which to be more upset about. I think now it's time for the Clash to die in the past. 2 out of 10.
I agree. I felt like the end of this race was a 2 out of 10, but I do just hate that there's not very much nuance here, that so many people are riding off the whole race, the whole track, when it was a sleet, icy night that ruined it. Before then, it was actually a really good race, I thought. And I hope more people grasp that.
I lied. I'm going to read 3 more just because I think they follow up nicely. Jeffrey King, appreciate $2. 9.5 out of 10 before the half, and after 5 out of 10.
You can even give it a 0 out of 10 after. I'd be fine with that. But no, this is the take. This is the right take, Jeffrey. I didn't even see that coming up, but took the words out of my mouth.
Calypso, the sea goddess, $1.99. Enjoy my show, blokes. Ha 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 ha.
I don't think I've been called a bloke before.
Right, maybe it's blocked. I don't know what.
I think it's bloke.
Stephen Gibson, we're going to end at you. Appreciate the $2. Ran more under yellow than green. 200 laps, my butt. Actually, Stephen, we ran 0 under yellow. We never had a yellow lap. That didn't happen. You're wrong. That's a false fact.
According to NASCAR.com, the runtime of the race was 57 minutes, 18 seconds.
Yeah. What are you talking about? We had no caution laps. That's not a thing.
Yeah, they actually did run 200 green laps tonight, but they probably ran 200 under yellow.
Oh, man.
We'll
It's
get
like
back
that Daytona
to-
truck race back in the day.
We'll get back to Super Chats a little bit later, starting off with GN, NASCAR fan. Again, appreciate everyone for your support tonight, and we'll pick back up on this later. Guys, we've had weather like crazy. We had an ice storm for the ages here in Middle Tennessee last week. We had snow at Bowman Gray Stadium that delayed us. We had sleet in NASCAR race, but you know what? I've been seeing the forecast for us, Jarrett, here in Tennessee. We're starting to get some 60s back in the forecast, and here we kind of start to see some thunderstorms, the lightning round.
Yeah, we got actually a few things this week with the lightning round. Of course, there is our NWP channel where we are actually putting up clips this year. I know everyone's shocked every time we do that, but we are actually putting those up. If you're watching on TV, there's your QR code you can scan to get there. It has a little duck in there
now.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fun.
So we have that, of course. Also, this Friday, there will be a public test at Rockingham for the O'Reilly Series and Truck Series. It was, I think, supposed to be like already done by now, but had to be moved back or supposed to. It was a cluster like the rest of the weather has been. Play-by-play duties, by the way, for the Truck Series are now split between Jamie Little, Eric Brennan, and Brent Stover. Little will start off the season at Daytona. I got to say, I'm happy for Eric Brennan. Dude deserves it. And I think he is going to knock it out of the park. Also, a few other things.
Ramos next.
I'm down with that too. Dario Franchitti is confirmed to be making a one-off in the St. Pete truck race. Don't know how he'll do, but it's good to see him back racing again. And then first things first will be live at Daytona International Speedway, February 12th and 13th on FS1. I don't know if they're going to have like a live audience behind them or not, or what they're going to do. But still pretty cool to see the crossover, cross promotion as well. I mentioned this last week. I think some people kind of got the instructions lost in translation. For the Fantasy League, the NWP Fantasy League, if you were in it last year, and you're like below me, so if you're finished like below 72nd or so, and you want to be in, let me know you're down in the comments after this processes, and Danny and I will keep track. I already got the names from last week. I had people that were in the top 10 last year being like, keep me in there. And I'm like, you didn't listen to directions, guys. But either way, because I'm not going to let you know when I'm going to purge those who didn't try last year, I guess, and open up some room for other people to jump in. Also, next week we will be live on Eric's channel. Where's he at? Over there, all the way over. February 11th, after Daytona 500 qualifying. Very similar to what we did tonight, except hopefully
started earlier.
Well, yeah, hopefully that'll end around the time it's supposed to. But with that, I think that's got it covered. That is the lightning round.
Now, let's have some fun.
Yeah, we can have a little fun. I mean, we have an extra fun segment this week.
Well, yeah, I'm including that in the fun, actually.
All right. Well,
it's not really like a serious headline thing. It's fun.
This is fun. We're having fun.
The Sounders in tonight. Yeah. I mean, we can do what we do most years and do who all three of us had in the chase, who two, and then a had in and one had out, and then vice versa, and then who we completely omitted. Spoiler alert, none of us were in the choosing to have two of us choosing somebody in and one not, because we're pretty unified this year on 15 of 16 chase picks.
That is crazy.
So we all have Priest and we all have SVG. I mean, now we look like geniuses after tonight. Priest looks like he's going to be good this year.
So for those listening, we have Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Ryan Priest, and Shane Van Gisbergen. So I think the question that we ask each year with this is, of these 15, who would be the most likely that we'd get wrong on?
Probably Ryan Priest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or Shane Van Gisbergen, but I mean, I'm betting on SVG getting better at the ovals and then still winning 3 of the road races.
I put mine in order, and I did have Ryan Priest and Bubba Wallace towards the lower end of mine. So I wouldn't be shocked if one of them doesn't make it.
Where did you have Ross Chastain, if you have your list, Danny.
I had Ross Chastain 13th, right
Okay.
in between Alex Bowman and Ryan Preece.
I think that's fair. I had him higher. I had him 9th, but I feel like that's on the higher end of most people. But I'm excited about, he said in an interview tonight that Trackhouse has a lot of new people in new positions. 2 of their 3 cars have new crew chiefs with Brandon McSwain and then Randall Burnett with Zilich. So I guess I'm betting on them maybe finding a spark and being a little bit quicker this year. But yeah,
I guess we're also putting a lot of stock into SVG improving for sure on ovals because we know he's going to do good on road courses, but how much does that truly anchor him for the rest of the season without having, a lot of improvement on the ovals? We'll really see on that. But I had him actually 11th. I had Alex Bowman and behind William Byron.
11th. That seems high for Shane Van Gisbergen.
I think I'm banking on him having some good ovals, but really going point heavy on those road courses.
Quick note, all cars pass tech, so everything's official.
Cool.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They were probably they were ready to get out of there.
First part of the show, guys.
They were ready to get out of there. There's probably like that one security guard, not really patting anybody down. That was them inspecting the 60 car.
The one that's like,
yeah, he's just like conducting an orchestra.
Yep.
I'll say that SVG, I think, will be saved by more points for winning on top of the oval side. If it was just doing better ovals, I would question us having him in. But those extra points, I mean, if he wins even 3 of the road courses, which, let's be honest, he probably is going to win all of them. He's the odds-on favorite at least. But if he just wins 3 of them, that's an extra 45 points he didn't have last year alone. So it's like, I would think he should be pretty good. At least he'll be in that conversation if the whole season goes to hell in a handbasket. But I mean, of these guys, there's not really anyone outside of the last 2 in the list that I could see completely falling off the face of the earth, unless maybe Bubba Wallace and crew just like, wasn't it last year? They were like way up in the stage points, but not good in the finishes. If they don't get stage points this year, they could definitely be on that cut line.
Now, I'm willing to believe, based on how many we share, most of us looked at the average finish from last year and probably helped us come to the conclusion a lot of these guys. Am I right on that? Probably.
I think that and points added for winning as well.
So
over the years,
that really played a big reason into why I think this would be, my 16. Do we want to talk about the ones that were different from each other?
Yes, because we
each had one different. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm interested.
I had Brad Keselowski for mine, different one. So I was bold and did all 3 RFK cars making it as well. Danny has Kyle Busch stepping it up this year, and Eric has Carson Hocevar.
So this is interesting, Eric. Last year, Jarrett and I were the only 2 that had Hocevar because we believed in a system that rewards random wins. We felt he could pull that off, and he nearly did. Now, neither of us have him in this system, but you do. What are you expecting from Hocevar? I'm at least expecting Kyle Busch to have about a middle tier average finish as he had last year, which could help get him in.
I just think y'all were a year early on Hocevar. Year 3, that's when these young, hot shot phenoms typically find their groove. Now, here is my thinking on Hocevar. I think there's a good chance he wins a race this year, so that's going to be worth a few points. That's great. But more than that, if you look at last season, he ranked 13th in stage points. 13th most stage points. That tells you he ran top 15 a lot. We know several races like Charlotte, Michigan, Atlanta, nearly Nashville, and like Charlotte and Michigan, he like blew a motor or had a tire issue. Like he DNF'd those races when he almost won. So those killed his averages because he ended up 22nd in points, I think. So his average finish was lousy. His points finish was lousy. But He had 5 mechanical related DNFs last year. I'm betting that number gets cut in half or less. I'm betting they only have 1 or 2. I think the odds of them having that many mechanical issues 2 years in a row are low. It could happen. And if it happens, I'm screwed. I'm betting it won't, but the speed will continue to improve. So I think there's a good chance he wins one of those races that he should have won last year or almost won last year. And then I think he'll have less catastrophic failures that don't cost him points. Because, those, if he just finishes 4th in the 600 last year, that's like a 40-point day. I don't know how many stage points he had. As a result, he probably earned like 10 points in that race. So I think a few of those going his way are going to boost him from 22nd to probably around 16th in points. He's my 16 seed, though. I have him sneaking in just barely.
I think for me, I question Hocevar just because of Hocevar, because I feel like he's somebody who is just that he is chaos. Like, he's not chaotic evil or good. He's just chaotic neutral. He's just, and I want to see him be more consistent and not also taking himself out of different opportunities, because there's so many people who've gotten upset with him too. He has the speed though to do it. Like, his points position last year was not at all representative of where he actually was running so many of those races, like you said. So like, I get it. I want to see him prove it for me. For me with Brad, I think even with the injury, as long as that team is putting out decent enough speed, I think he can hang around that 20th, 19th area and be way better than he was last year to start off the year, when it was clear they kind of had mailed it in to help the 60 team in a lot of aspects. And I do think that Brad will get better as the year goes on. I could totally see him though missing it with the broken leg. I think without the broken leg, I think he's a shoe-in to make it.
I would agree with you there. Yeah.
My thoughts on Brad and why I actually wrote down my first 4 out, and Brad is included in that list, mainly because I think these first however many weeks are going to be difficult for him. I think he'll still do good in Daytona 500. I think he might actually have a legit shot to still win it, even with the leg, mainly because of what Daytona is and how well he's been in the past. And, as long as he can stay out of trouble, I think he can still do good. But it's the other tracks that I wonder about after this, where I wonder how Brad is going to do starting off. But as the year goes on, we saw this in years past when he had previous leg injuries. He really came out of it really nicely, actually. So I'm curious to see what happens with him. But I actually think don't count him out for the Daytona 500 just yet.
And I mean, your pick Kyle Busch could win the Daytona 500 as well. Yeah. One more note on Carson Hocevar. Oh no, it slipped my mind. I had it and then I lost it. Never mind. Come back to me. I had a point I was going to add and then I forgot what it was. Sorry about that.
Meet Carson Hocevar to Chili's to find out what you were thinking of.
Kyle Busch.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I remember my Hocevar point.
Oh.
Tonight in the dry, if you looked at the top 10 midway through this race, it was all Hendrick, all Gibbs, all Penske, and then there was Carson Hocevar in 4th. So that, to your point, he's fast. He is very fast. Okay, sorry, Kyle Busch. My bad. The floor is yours.
Kyle Busch still had a really great average finish last season. People may think just because he didn't make the playoffs, he didn't win a race. Well, that's because we were in a system that punished you if you were in that situation. Alex Bowman barely made it, when in reality, points wise, he was pretty good, pretty solid. If this was just based off a point system last year, he'd have actually been much better than what it showed at the end in the regular season. But similar with Kyle Busch, he'd have been a lot better if we were just doing this based on points. I think it's a testament that we saw both RCR cars get their way in on speed into this one. A couple of years ago when they were in LA, Jarrett, Austin Dillon come back to bite you by not even being in the show. But now we saw them both legitimately qualify their way in. I'm not going to say RCR is going to light the world on fire by any means. Maybe Austin Dillon wins Richmond for the 3rd time in his life. Maybe Kyle Busch can get back to victory lane, but I think Kyle Busch would still be capable of being a 14th to 16th place driver and making the chase.
I think my worry is RCR. RCR and then Kyle getting a year older. Like those are my two hangups so far. And it feels like Kyle Busch just halfway through the year, if not earlier, just sort of gives up at this point because he's realistic about RCR. He's already pessimist Kyle Busch based on the stuff he was saying even before the season started. So it's like,
yeah.
But it's Kyle Busch, so it's like I could totally see him going out and getting a win or two just out of nowhere because he has the talent still to do so.
Well, best thing I can figure is he needs to figure out something this year, because at this point, I think next year his best option is looking like the 7 car being available, and that's about it. Unless he can maybe he gets in over at Colleague and sets up Brexton to come into that Ram Dodge deal later in his career.
Well, we did have 15 we chose to be for sure all of us together on, in 3 that we differed on. So that is half of the field, which means we have the other half here. For those that are listening, it's Austin, Cindric, and Dylan, Noah Gragson, Daniel Suarez, Ty Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, Josh Berry, Todd Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith, Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse, Cody Ware, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell, and Connor Zillich. So I'll ask you guys in the chat, of the 18 we omitted, who's most likely to just play spoiler?
Yeah, I was just thinking, who's most likely to win a race in a year where that doesn't matter anymore? I would go with Austin Cindric and Austin Dillon in that list of people. Dillon, we just know, loves Richmond now. Cindric, he's won a race in 3 seasons of his however many he's been here since 2022. So he's proven he's capable of at least 1 a year. Also wouldn't be surprised if a Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins the Talladega or something like that.
I think it's got to be Cindric or Ty Gibbs just because of the cars they're in. But I'm just not, even tonight, Ty Gibbs had a ton of speed. Where did he end up finishing? I know, he got wrecked. It wasn't even his fault, but it's just like, man's just a magnet for bad breaks right now. He finished 14th. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not feeling great about either of those guys right now. I just feel like they both underwhelmed. I know, like you said, Cindric's won a few races, but his teammates are winning championships and he's not even remotely in that conversation. Like, at some point he's got to get to that next level. And last season he had 2 top 5s. So I'm not ready to buy into Cindric or Gibbs just yet. But if they make it, it's because their cars are just that good.
Well, and Connor Zillich is the mystery. Like, we kind of all assume he's going to have some kind of struggle. But at the same time, we also got to push back on the hype machine last year. Yeah. And granted, O'Reilly is way different than Cup. So I'm not equating that as like equal by any means. I will say the one that we haven't mentioned and isn't really getting talked about, and I get they don't have as much support this year because they're kind of lame ducks, but AJ Allmendinger and Colleague have proven they can have some pretty good speed at random points, especially AJ. Maybe they're a team that can be a fringe top 16 team. I question it, though. I think this year, a lot of that middle of the pack that would be on that fringe, there's a lot of good reasoning why they couldn't be. And I think for AJ, it's the state of Colleague and their deal with Chevrolet.
On that note, I caught this. This was during qualifying. They were interviewing AJ on TV. I think it was after the LCQ when he, tried to punt those guys out of the way. And, typically when drivers are talking about, we had a fast Colleague Racing Chevy today, he kind of awkwardly said, our Colleague Racing car, just wasn't quite able to make the show. And I was like, I noticed that. I'm like, he didn't say Chevy. He said car. That just sounded, you wouldn't hear Chase Elliott go, our Napa Racing car was good today. I mean, maybe you would. Usually they say the OEM. AJ didn't. To your point, they have no support from Chevy this year.
They are still putting the Chevy logos on the cars, which is at least nicer than who was Bill Davis Racing when they had Michael Waltrip driving for them right before Michael Waltrip Racing became a thing of Toyota. They were running Dodges that straight up did not have any Dodge branding on them because Dodge knew that they were leaving for Toyota in 07 once they became legal in Cup, and they didn't want to give them any factory support, so they stopped putting Dodge on the car altogether. Had the Dodge grill, Dodge lights, that was it. It didn't have the Dodge logos on it.
I could see that happening. I mean, they're basically, at least in business practice.
Mhm.
I feel like there's going to be one that surprises us this year, though. There's going to be one that we're like not even looking at and just has a sneaky top 16 type of year. I mean,
Josh Berry
maybe
could, win a race.
I want to believe in the legacy cars, but they always
Yeah.
start the year so poorly.
They were terrible tonight. They were bad.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird race. I'm not gonna that you can't hold that against them too much, but yeah, no, I do think if there's like a real surprise where you're like, whoa, no one was talking about them. Somehow someone got in the top 16. I think it will be like an Eric Jones, but that's such a long shot. I don't know.
How did we go from Eric Jones winning for Petty GMS in the Focus Factor Chevrolet at Darlington to them being in what should be better equipment looking worse?
Just got to build that notebook up. Remember, we've heard from folks that they got no data from Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. They realized pretty quickly that Toyota didn't have a lot of data to share with them at first. They really,
them and Colleague are going to be Dodge's first teams, and I think they made a mistake going to Toyota. Personally,
I think they're getting better. How can you say that when last year they both took a huge leap? They were 4 or 5 points. No, Nemechek was 10 points positions better last year than the previous year.
They are an afterthought in Toyota. Toyota always has a team that is an afterthought to them. They always do. For a while, it was Gaunt Brothers Racing. For a while, the afterthought, even though they won a championship, was Furniture Row.
Clint Boyer almost won a championship with MWR back in the day.
Well, MWR for a long time was their forgotten team that they
almost won a championship.
But either way, there is always someone that's just Toyota's like, if you do great, great. If not, I don't care. I don't give a rat's. You know what?
See, I'll say this with the Dodge side of it. I think the team that would go to Dodge, if Dodge is well put together, I think this will be your canary in the coal mine of whether or not all this glitz and glamour and show is actually going to amount to anything, is if Trackhouse does. Because if there's something to be gained and Trackhouse can elevate from a second-tier team to a top-tier team, I would put money on them going to Dodge or Honda or whoever jumps in before Legacy gets that tier 1 status, just because they do have that winning pedigree, really good drivers. Now, of course, there's different contracts and stuff like that, so we'd see it'd be a while, but that's where I'd be looking at if I'm looking at like an OEM change in the next coming years from a team.
Colleague in a lot of ways, it's going to be like the Bill Davis, Michael Waltrip, Red Bull that Toyota had when they got started, that they're experimenting. They're going to try to do as good as they can with them, but they're going to try to bring one of the big boys away from their OEM. And even though they've been so loyal to Ford for so long, I wouldn't be shocked if RFK eventually wanted to look at Dodge because of the success that Brad had running for Dodge.
Well, there's that.
On that a rumor a while back?
There was a report that Brad spoke to Dodge. I think it was Dodge he spoke to.
I think it was
a couple years ago. I don't know if that obviously didn't go anywhere at the time. It could still go somewhere. The reason I think RFK could make sense is
that could be the big one they get in year 2 whenever that happens.
Well, they need a third charter. Ryan Preece just won this race night. He doesn't have a charter for next year.
Yeah.
And
you remember what the new charter deal is? 2 are allotted to any new OEM, whichever they want to allot them to which team. So
it's a long shot that Dodge even gets into Cup next year. But if they do, I don't know. I have no insight on this. I don't have a source on this. Nobody's telling me anything. We know about the Keselowski reports from a couple of years ago. Like, I just feel like on paper, RFK would make the most sense, but that's tough because Roush is the Ford engine builder. It's like, whoa, what happens there? Because if they start building Dodge engines, which I don't know, Jack Roush may never allow that. I don't know. Then who builds the engines for Ford? Like, then Ford's really screwed. So I don't know. That's a weird.
I think
there's politics involved.
Be able to take it over.
Well, look what basically has happened with no major support in the O'Reilly series. Ford has basically made that entire series an afterthought at this rate. Trucks, it's basically a connect set of a series to get in. That's why Ram is going in now. So it's like, I would question that. I would question like what Ford's plan is going to be. Like, what's your plan? Rick Ware Racing?
That's right. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's
Penske
nothing.
you wouldn't get behind that if there was no plan.
None of these transitions are perfectly smooth and make 100% sense on paper. It's going to be a weird fit, which maybe means none of it happens, but it's something to keep an eye on.
And really, I can't even say that Penske would be staying with Ford. We saw them go from Ford originally to Dodge and then back to Ford. They could go back to Dodge one day,
Mm-hmm.
You know what this talk would be perfect for?
What?
Our prediction segment.
Oh, good transition. That was smooth.
Believe it or not, we were talking about the chase, and somehow we were talking about Penske going to Dodge.
Predictions, man, they get there. So yeah, each one of us will make 2 NASCAR motorsports or show related predictions. We'll keep tracking our accountability session. We'll try and keep them relatively concise. We can play fast and loose at that with whatever we go. Eric, now you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-oh.
You said the driver would say hell yeah during an interview during the Clash coverage. I didn't hear it, but if the chat says otherwise, we can go with it. I was focusing on a million other things.
I honestly wasn't paying attention, and I was hoping somebody in the chat would like DM me if they heard it. I don't. Maybe no. Maybe did Priest say it during his victory interview at any point?
He dropped a lot of F-bombs, I think, but
he did drop a couple F-bombs. Priest got a little bit of a potty mouth.
I like it. He's
a modified guy. Of course he does.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. That's good.
Hey, never forget. He cheated in Random Driver on our show. We know what kind of man he's capable of being.
That's right. Yeah, his morals are compromised. We already know that.
Well, Danny and I had nothing come off the board, so not much changes this week. Eric and Danny are tied 50-50 apiece. I'm still at 37.5 all time though. I'm at 36.55, Danny at 32.67. Do the meme. And Eric at 32.19. Eric, if you had gotten it right, you actually would have jumped up to second all time.
Oh, basement boy.
Oof. So with that, I think we go off of this year. So I think Eric still goes first, and then Danny, and then me.
All right, I'm going to get this one off the board because I don't think it's on the board, and I am going to be prisoner of the moment, and I will say that Ryan Priest wins a points race this year.
That's a good one.
Yep. I said it. Can't take it back.
I do like that one. I'm going to go related to Daytona 500 and say Justin Allgaier will go 2 for 2, getting JRM in the Daytona 500.
I'm going to go with, and maybe it'll happen to Daytona, but I think due to his connection with this brand, with the brand Ram, Terry Crews will be at least one truck race this year. They got the marketing is perfect with that one.
I want to see Terry Crews. That'd be funny. All right. I know I know our next show is immediately after Daytona 500 pole qualifying. So I wanted to make a prediction there. God, what a shot in the dark. It used to be you could guarantee a Hendrick car was on the pole like every year pretty much. Then for a while it was like, oh, what's the story this year? It seemed like that always ended up being the pole winner. I'm gonna go chalk here and say Chase Briscoe back-to-back front row Daytona 500 starting spots. I think he'll do it again this year. They were second at Talladega in the fall in qualifying, so he did start on the front row a couple times last year.
Well, I'm going to counter your argument and say that Chevy will sweep the Daytona 500's front row.
Ooh, okay.
I'll make it really tough on the graphics department to get the predictions graphics ready to go for next week. I'll say this. I'll say this one. There will be a credible report by the time this race is run that NASCAR was the first option for the America 250.
The DC race.
Yep. I think NASCAR was initially proposed to have it, at least approached on it.
But their schedule's too tight and already well planned out.
I think there's a reason. There was a throwaway race at New Hampshire that was the same weekend that this race is ending up taking place on. And we know that SMI is pretty buddy-buddy with the current administration. I think there's going to be some kind of report that NASCAR was approached about this and declined.
I could see that.
And
Could
you know
be.
what? I got to say, I'm glad it's not us for once that's stuck in the middle of a political firestorm. Thank God. I one was enough, two was enough, whatever was enough. I'm
But
glad.
you know what though, NASCAR, if they were approached by this, they compromised by having a literal race on a military facility this year, which in my opinion is equally as patriotic.
It's pretty badass.
It's pretty badass for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. All right.
That's our predictions.
Yeah, which means I think we got. Don't we got one more? Yeah,
We
got.
really only have one other. I guess we have two more segments, including Super Chat stage break tonight.
We got.
Are we doing Daytona? Are we doing Daytona pole picks tonight?
I mean, I guess we can do them for fun, but
We'll just
like,
throw
I
them
don't
out
think
there.
there's- Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
well,
I
think
got
you
one
can throw
wrote
yours
down.
out there.
So
Okay, we can throw those. Okay, sorry. I'm stepping on everything tonight. Random
Nah.
driver of the week.
Random
Week.
dancing.
Week.
All right, so I will have the chat. You guys cannot.
Bye, chat. See you in a few.
bye.
So Danny and Eric are tied now, 34 all.
The salad dressing, baby.
The dressing.
I was
Paul
at
Newman.
ATV today, and I saw Paul Newman. I saw the Newman zone. I said, "Oh,
You're always going to notice it.
saved
Just
me
like-
last week."
Just like Michael is never going to unnotice Bobby Dale Earnhardt.
And then I bought the store brand instead because it was cheap.
Because it's
I was
cheaper. Yep.
seeing stuff of Bobby Dale Earnhardt in the ARCA test at Daytona, and I was sending every single one to Michael.
So, yeah, of course, Danny went on that streak. Of the last 5, he has 4 of them with Milka Duno, Mike Bliss, Paul Menard, and Norm Benning. And of course, Eric has the first one of this year, Paul Newman. So, guys, I'm going to be honest. I kind of figured we might have this happen, so I crunched it. We have 15 clues tonight, so you better be on your A
Perfect.
game. This random driver is from South Bend, Indiana.
Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman is Eric's pick.
Correct.
Yep, that was super easy.
I was trying to make it so obvious, and it wasn't.
Well, I never stood a chance, all because I was texting Claudia that Shugs is at the door.
Oh, Jugs with the distraction. Nice power play. I'm sorry, chat. I did. That's the easiest
Shugs
one
is
you've done
literally
yet.
not banging at the door over here
See,
beside of me, and I'm just trying to tell Claudia.
I've been so
Paul
good.
Newman, Ryan Newman. Who's next?
Yeah, you Randy Newman, is he next?
Yeah.
I could look. Damn. I mean,
Sorry
well,
about
I'll
that.
give you at least some of the interesting ones.
Yes, give us some
I,
fun facts about Ryan Newman.
I tweeted about him twice. Danny 11 times. Eric 35.
Golly.
He owns 14 vintage cars. We were next to him in the pit for the podcast Party Bus in 2023 because
That's
he was
right.
doing the throwback in a Rick Ware car.
That's right.
One of the star actors. I wanted to be so obvious you wouldn't guess it, and I was like, "Damn it, I did! I just didn't get the car."
There's not a lot of drivers from South Bend. Yeah. Or maybe
one
there
of-
are. There's-
Well, so one of the actresses that starred in Sharknado's 3 and 4's name is also Ryan Newman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What?
Mhm.
Wait, Sharknado? 3 and
3 and
4. How
4.
many
Oh,
Sharknados?
hell yeah!
There's an actress named Ryan. If you try to look up Ryan Newman, you're only going to find her actually.
Oh, that's right. Because
Yeah.
Brad Keselowski had a cameo, or yeah, I think it was Keselowski had a cameo.
Keselowski
in
and
one of those.
Logano. Because there's
Yeah,
the one
one
where
of those
Logano's like,
Sharknadoes.
"What's that?" You know what they really needed that day, honestly? A Lethal Weapon.
What the hell is this? Why do we have this?
What
is that?
Dale Tanhart put it on Twitter today, and I'm like, hippity hoppity, this meme is my property.
Bazooka Joe.
For those listening, that was Joey Logano with a bazooka.
You know what this reminded me of tonight? Not to toot my own horn, but I do dabble occasionally on the Wordle every day. I don't do it every day, but I used to. I did once get the Wordle on the first try without cheating. I don't know how that happened. That's
Nice.
dumbest luck in the universe. That's how I just felt right now,
That-
pulling
that-
that out of my butt.
That's the record now, though. I think you joked one time you were going to get it on the first try, and you actually did it just nonchalantly.
Now
tonight.
we have to guess it before he gives us a clue.
It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. You got it on your hat.
That's a hint.
Correct.
All right, we'll try again next week.
Sorry about that, Chad. I blew the fun segment. That was
literally robbed us.
It's pretty damn good moment though. I guess we can give our 500 pick. So Eric, a mystery here. Who's your 500 pick?
Like for the poll, you mean?
Yeah, for the poll.
No, who are you picking to win a Daytona 500? We need to lock this in right now.
Yeah, it's late. I'm tired. We're rolling.
Well, I did say Briscoe would be front row, not necessarily the poll. So I could pick someone else. Who was on the front row last year with him? Does anyone remember? Chat, help me out.
By the way, we can keep them the same if we overlap. I'm not going to think too hard on this.
I am going to say, Chad, help me out. Help me out, Chad. Who else was on the front row? I'll just say Briscoe. I'll just say they had that, like, didn't they get busted for an illegal spoiler and then they won the appeal? So they did something funky with their car.
They are going to be hammering down on if you put your arm too close to the window, by the way, this year.
Oh, I did see that.
That is something they're going to be doing.
Who has the biggest hands in the Cup Series garage?
Hendrick, that's who it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he could. That's a good pick too. Penske cars are usually better in the draft. I'll just say Briscoe. I'll just double down and say Briscoe.
Going with the safe pick, Alex Bowman.
It's a good one.
I'll go with the storyline, Denny Hamlin. We're getting back to the storyline Daytona 500 polls.
Yeah, we got the Hendrick pick and we got the storyline pick for the front row. That's how it usually goes. I like both of your odds.
Yeah.
More specifically, I think it's going to be Alex Bowman, pole, and I'll go Carson Hocevar with that Chevy front row.
Okay, I'll give you another, since we're kind of having fun with predictions here, Super Bowl pick.
Oh, that's not where I was going to go with it.
I'm brave on the Patriots. I got to root for Mike to stick it to Amy Adams because she is one dumb, stupid owner.
God, I'm so uninvested in this year's Super Bowl. It's sad. I'm not
gonna watch.
I mean, I'll definitely watch. I got nothing else going on this Sunday, but I'm not hyped for it this year. I'll go Patriots too. I do like Mike Vrabel. He was, I think, one of his first coaching gigs was linebackers coach for the Houston Texans back in the day. So
I can't hate this version of the Patriots. This is not the Tom Brady Patriots. This is an all new Patriots. This feels like a whole separate team. It's like, I don't like Alabama, but the Kalen DeBoer Alabama is not Nick Saban Alabama.
So I will say for the Super Bowl, after I'm not gonna watch because again I don't care that much to be invested, but I'm gonna make sure I know when the Super Bowl halftime show ends because I'm gonna go to the grocery store and do all my shopping then when no one's there. But I'm gonna go Seattle. I want Sam Darnold to win. I like him, and I think he's a good person.
So Jarrett,
we need maximum pain for Viking fans, and this is the perfect way to do it. Like, we're gluttons for pain. This is it.
I am rooting for my ex-coach to stick it to our ownership. We're
in toxic relationships, man.
You are hoping for took a chance on quarterback to get his moment when y'all gave him up.
You know what? I'm A-okay with him winning because I like him. I think he's a good dude, and I think he deserves it. And I want to stick it to the GM that we fired too.
Yep.
Double down.
So yeah, we're in very toxic sports relationships.
I do think Seattle's going to win though. If I was like betting on it, which I don't do, I would pick Seattle to win.
See, that's thing. I think it's going to be a rock fight. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's just going to be like, I don't think it's going to be 10-7, but I could totally see like 2017, 17-14.
It's in LA, right? Line. Or it's in it's in San Francisco. Yeah. So
you have a good chance of it being in California or Florida. Like, that's pretty much the way I've seen it at this point.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I kind of got in trouble with some of my fellow Viking fans on this, and I say this as a Vikings fan, but we need at least one Super Bowl in Lambeau before the end of time. Like,
that would be
football is meant to be played in the snow. I don't care about all those rich assholes being cold. They paid all that money. They'll be fine.
It'll probably be here in Nashville in about 3 to 4 years, I'd say.
Yeah, that's the way it always goes. But so we got some predictions in if people want to pay attention to them. I guess. What we got? Super chat cooldown lap now?
Yeah, we got a lot at that. So picking back up, GN NASCAR fan, appreciate the $5 from you. Jimmy Spencer's comment about locking Brian Vickers into a padded room inside a straitjacket for Scientific Studies aged even more well this week. Yeah. CR Jean, appreciate the $5 from you. RFK had no cars in this event in 2022, and now they have won it.
Hey, that's true, because they missed it the first 2 years. I think they got one in 2024. They got all of them in last year, and now they've won. So it's like just a
nearly got Corey LaJoy in it too.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I muted in time. Didn't want to ruin your all's ears.
Oh, bless you. That was a big sneeze. I was like,
oh, that's why. I was like, why did it go quiet?
Yeah.
I looked away for a second and it's quiet.
Cameron Johnson, appreciate the $5 from you. Getting booted off network TV for pre-recorded reality competition shows is embarrassing. Live events always have priority. Yeah, that's very true. This is Masked Singer could be shown at any time. And Fear Factor, it really could.
I'm telling you that those audiences are the type of folks who still DVR things. And I remember back when I used to DVR things, if it got, something got delayed and overlapped and it's like all of a sudden I didn't get my whole recording, I'd be pissed. So
imagine back in the day when you had to do it, put your VHS tape in and have it set to record at a certain time on a certain channel.
Oh, I remember doing that. Like we did that until 2007, like 6 or 7, because that's when we got cable at that point, like DirecTV.
Some of the oldest races are still preserved.
So yeah, so like I have like races from 2006 on videotape. Like my grandpa has some from like the 90s that I could probably dig out. But that the DVR thing actually happened to me once. 2011, the Atlanta race got moved to a Tuesday, and so I was, we had Monday off, obviously, but we didn't have Tuesday off. So I had to go to school, football practice, all that. I get home, I watched the entirety of that race, which was a pretty good race. And it cuts off. Even with the extended thing, it cuts off with 6 to go. And back then they didn't post stuff on YouTube right away. So I didn't get to see that awesome finish between Gordon and Johnson until like a year later. Because it didn't replay any of that. And I was like, and so the only reason I knew is because my Aunt Darlene, bless her soul, called me. So because every time Gordon won, she'd call me and go Gordon, and I'd do the same thing with Junior. That's the only reason I knew Gordon won. I was like, damn it.
Wow.
So I'm glad we live in the digital age now for that reason, at least on sports. It was so frustrating, man.
Justin Drake, appreciate the $10 from you. The Clash should stay at Bowman Gray, but Fox needs to go. Couldn't watch the last 20 laps because Fox thought people dressed as free singing is better. What a joke. I'm sorry, I didn't say that word coming, and it got me. Well, you're don't go looking up the TV contract. You'll be mad. Anyway. Jimmy 48 fan, good to see you. Appreciate the $5. Some of the Clash, it wasn't that easy staying green. The Muppets show was more entertaining to watch than that fuster clock of a race. I like that word. That's a cleaner way of saying what I know you really meant. Rowdy 8 Diecast, appreciate the $1.99. And for better or for worse, NASCAR is back, baby. iBolt, appreciate the $10. We are so back with the Clash at Bowman Gray. Huge congrats to Ryan Preece. Was prepared to say all that for a Penske, JGR, Hendrick win. Also, SVG can run ovals now. We're cooked. Stephen Gibson, appreciate the $5. I predict that by 2028, the Clash won't exist. The race will move to Brazil for 2 years, and the teams will complain about traveling before the 500. If they do move forward with that idea, I could see that happening.
I think it'll be at least until the next TV deal. Maybe 2032, they'll get rid of it.
That's fair. Yeah. Derek Daysaw, appreciate the $5 from you. Herp's performance in the last chance qualifier proves again why Heim should be in the 35. Also, great Spire debut from Suarez. Yes, Suarez did look really good with Spire tonight. And I tweeted at one point during the last chance qualifier, are we sure that Herbst is in a 2311 car? Because it just doesn't seem like the same equipment.
No,
I agree on both.
Napa Racing fan, appreciate the $5 from you. My compromise to NASCAR count caution laps and have 250 laps. Bowman Gray deserve to have the race one more year after Snowmageddon and those last 100 laps. Yeah, I think move it up a few more laps, but you're going to have to count the caution laps. We can't do that again. Just stop it. Get some help. Jeffrey King, appreciate the $5 from you again. NASCAR hired Jack Sparrow to get Davy Jones to put a word in of Mother Nature for perfect weather in 2025. Then Jack Sparrow bailed. Now look, yep, we have Calypso. She is she's hurting us. Grant Toynton. Sorry, that was a weird name to say for some reason. Appreciate the $5 from you. Eric, don't say that about San Diego. I'll be flying in from Arkansas. That's my dad's hometown. Rest in peace, Dad. Going back on Father's Day to honor him. Well, that's lovely to hear, Grant.
I'm sure the state will not slide into the ocean this summer.
No.
And I'll be flying in too. Not from Arkansas, but it'll be fun.
24 Lincoln Park fan. Appreciate the $5 from you. Done paying for streaming services. I watched 3 sports, NASCAR, NFL, and Major League Baseball. Pay $125 a month and still had to find a sketchy stream to get FS2. Time to pirate.
Yo ho, pirates.
Our package of YouTube TV did have FS2, so I was fine. Gavin Adcock, appreciate $10. Maybe it's because I'm a Larson fan, but I think it is BS that everyone was allowed to come down pit road and not lose position while Larson was not allowed to stay out after he ran out. Am I crazy? Larson, unfortunately, was the guinea pig here, so it sucks for you. Sorry, but that's all it really was here. Justin Drake, appreciate the $5. Turns out the snow plow the South needed all week had been stolen, dismantled, and the plow was attached to Connor Zilch's 88 car tonight.
He got himself a couple. He turned Denny once. He turned Gibbs. Yeah.
I think Hocevar had one of those on them too. Napa Racing fan, appreciate $2. Push to FS2 for Masked Singer as an all-time low. Well, that's better than, I guess, the USA pushing us off for like what, a Law and Order rerun or something like that.
That has happened. That happened on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Justin TC12, appreciate the $4.99. I guess a lot of fans forgot how bad the last oval clash at Daytona was. No, it wasn't good. The same fans who say super speedways suck want another super speedway. I don't think I'm open to the idea of Five Flags or New Smyrna. I'm still open to a short track clash, but
Freedom Victory.
I just think we got to get to Florida. That's all. CR John 5, appreciate $5, but it says your message was retracted. I don't know what you said.
Oh, here.
Oh, my opinion, being undefeated at a track is worthy of some aura points. Super happy for Priest. Well, he's not undefeated. That's probably why I took it back, because he's not technically undefeated because he didn't win it last year. Or was he even in it last year?
He was in it, yeah.
No, he's not undefeated. Sorry. Jeffrey King, appreciate the $2 from you. Fox Booth, 8 out of 10. They had some good improvement. Did notice some good things. Noticed a couple bad things, but mostly good things. CR Jean 5, appreciate the $2 from you. At least Fox got rid of the cartoon graphics. Yes, no more cartoons.
Big step.
No more cartoons. Didn't need it. Just take a picture of you. Good to go. Optics, appreciate the $2 from you. Thought Harvick had his best booth performance. He did seem very comfortable. And
except for the part where he was like, "Oh, I think they got plenty of grip to go race in these conditions," and they went green, and immediately everybody slipped and wiped out. And that was like, "Oh, okay, maybe he jumped the gun a little," but other than that, he was good. What
little bit I saw too, he had an interview piece of Connor Zilch, and I feel like he actually did pretty solid in that role too. Curtis Shaw, appreciate the the interview probably comes good because he's doing that podcast, so he's kind of getting comfortable in that interview environment too. Curtis Shaw, appreciate the $5. Anyone else want to give Mike Joy a big hug when he was talking about Dale? Yeah. As someone like him who was there calling that race, it's not easy for him to mention, hey, we're putting more content out about this moment, but it's it's the reality of his job.
Yeah.
Jake Owens, appreciate the 999 from you. I'm quite used to races with that much chaos ending well after midnight. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I was shocked it was only 9:30 p.m. when the race ended. Yeah, and fortunately, the three of us are in Central Time, so actually it's only 10:16 p.m. for us right here. So,
Yeah. But I brought up with you. I was like, this is how I can tell having a kid is it's made me to the point where I can't hang as much anymore because I'm just like, all right, we can speed this up already. I'm getting a little tired here, man.
Ooh, we got first one I think I've seen of him this year. Indy Carson versus NASCAR for it's $10. Hey, NWP, yay, Priest. No race due to helping with kids at a church program. Not understand. I love doing it. Finally, this is my 20th year picking drivers to win with a pick drivers group I've been in since 2002. That's awesome, man.
Dang.
Great.
Nice.
Dino Diva, appreciate the $5. Caution laps not counting made the race a lot longer. Is this a new thing for the season? No, it's not a new thing for the season. It's just something for this race and this race only, just because it's such a short track.
This race should be exhibit number 1 of people who asked not to count caution laps of why we should not do that.
Yeah. Chase Fan, appreciate the $4.99. Going to Atlanta in a few weeks. Hope any of y'all be there, and it's my first time having garage/pit pass. Any advice on my best way to get autographs? Well, I haven't really, because of the position that we're in, we do it more in media. We don't go after autographs no more. But if I had to give you any advice on trying to do something like that, if you have a pit pass, try to get to some of the haulers and about that, maybe 2 to 3 hours before the race, before too many people are there. They might be going to driver introductions. You might be able to get by a hauler. Some of the drivers come out of there. That would be my best advice on trying to do something. But overall, just stay cool there. Don't get in anyone's way. Don't try to overstep your boundaries. But overall, have a good time.
However they do it with like the red carpet leaving the driver intros, if it's still a red carpet. I don't know where it is at Atlanta because I've not been. But that's where you get all the drivers right before driver intros come out. It's like a big stream of them. And you're not going to get everyone's autograph, but you might, if you have like a sign or something, you might get a half a dozen or more of guys just as they're walking by.
And rule of thumb in the infield, no matter what you're doing, just keep your head in a swivel. One, just safety, but two, like you'll be surprised how many people are just crossing paths right behind you that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Because I know when I was a kid at Chicagoland Speedway, I would be going for autographs all weekend long, and so you just sort of have to go and part of it too is you have to just scope it out for yourself too and find those places. But drivers are pretty open, so you'll be able to get a lot of them.
And also, you're gonna, obviously you're a Chase Elliott fan. Chase is going to be the hardest driver, especially at Atlanta, his home track, to get around. But if you want to meet some of the drivers like Ryan Priest, your winner tonight, guys like him, if he's around, Corey LaJoy, your BJ McLeods, Cody Wares, Daniel Suarez, etc. Some of those guys probably be more open, to seeing some fans come up to them. They, truthfully, they're not going to get as many as the other guys. So, don't be afraid to come up and say hello to some of those guys too. Real SW official, appreciated $2 from you. Honestly, Hocevar deserved that. Just saying, LOL. He was pretty rough on some people. Andrew, appreciate the 516. This 50-mile race took a little over 3 hours. Cars ripped around the madhouse at a blistering 16 miles per hour average. Coincidence?
Holy hell!
I think not. Be like Biff. Yes.
Wow.
That explains the 516. Very appropriate. Thank you, Andrew. Justin TC12, appreciate the $4.99. Would Daytona be a state if it wasn't for Tennessee? Hashtag remember that one. This one just keeps living on. Spencer Purcell, appreciate being a member for 55 months of Danny B Super Fans. Doesn't matter what happened. Happy NASCAR is back. Yes, indeed. Spencer, yes, indeed. Justin Drake, appreciate the $10 from you. I don't know what's more embarrassing, the blatant game fixing the NHL had at the Stadium Series this weekend, or Bowman and Hendrick equipment needing his points provisional to make the clash. Hey, he got a top 10 out of that, so I don't want to hear it. Flying Cactus, appreciate $4. Please, no more boring gray.
Nah.
Not at this race, at least. Oh, it skipped on me. I gotta go back up. Sorry.
Justin's really hung up on this NHL game that I did not watch, and I don't know that any of us watched.
I don't know either.
Justin Drake with another $10. Eric, they changed the rules on us. Yeah, that was my feeling watching it in person. The NHL and the rest of the Stadium Series blatantly game fixing and cost Boston not once, not twice, but 8 times.
It's brutal.
See, I'm not much of a hockey person. Anytime I look at the Preds, it feels like they're losing. And yep, they lost to Minnesota in overtime. Yep, they lost again. Good job, Preds.
Can you fight the refs in hockey? I know you can fight each other all the time, but do they? I don't know anything about hockey. Can you fight the refs? Can
Probably
the refs fight
the
each
guy
other?
selling hot dogs even.
They're unfortunately a protected class in most sports.
Fight.
Good NASCAR officials are the only ones that it's like, oh, well, we'll let them be. Like they're just really relaying the message. Like other refs in stick and ball sports, I'm like, would it be that bad if someone knocked one of them out?
Buckeye fan, appreciate $2. Is it just me, or did Elliott look bad today? Yeah, he didn't look that great.
I wouldn't take too much stock in it just yet, though.
Yeah, he was in the top 10 most of the day.
I mean,
he was my pick, so I was watching him. Before the rain, he looked okay.
James Reddick, appreciate the €2. Watching from the UK. Watched since 2022. Love it. Appreciate that,
Yeah,
James.
thanks. That's awesome.
Indy Carson versus NASCAR Carson. Appreciate the $5. I vote international race every year for a clash since it's not during the regular season. Travel, get people overseas or Canada or you want to do Canada? You thought there was snow in North Carolina.
Oh, Canada may not work, but yeah.
They're crabs! I wanna go to bed!
Thank you, say Henry, for the $5. Oh, here's Michael Maroots with the $2. Bobby Dale Earnhardt did not approve of that clash.
Oh man.
I'm Dan. Who are you? I'm also Dan. Hi, Dan. LaJoy is the 10th plague and Exodus. Just awful.
I don't think he's that bad. Damn.
No, he's not that bad. I did not skip you, Ross Crashtain, or did I? I don't know.
He's referring to this one from earlier. I went back and found it. It was a weird glitch. We did skip over it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, you can see it.
Many beverages date Benny Hill fame playing in the background, and we're being pumped to have us. Welcome back, NASCAR. Yeah, welcome back indeed. Sorry we missed that one.
All good.
AJT, appreciated the $2. Woo! Ryan Priest is the winner. Woo! Yep, Ryan Priest. Let's go. Former guest on NWP.
That's right.
Napa Racing fan, appreciate $2. This clash was very similar to the 2023 LA clash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there. I remember Amelia was there. My sister was there. It was her first race ever.
Oh, wow.
It also was her last race that she's been to.
She's like, nope, that's it.
It set the tone.
It was a lot. Cypress Hill put on a good show though.
Insane in the membrane.
GN NASCAR fan, appreciate the $2. Teardown of Bianchi Gluck raid after NWP ends. Have they gone live? I don't even know.
Are they still live? You can if you want.
I feel like we go longer than them, so if they're still going, sure, have at it, rate them. But we're gonna keep going. The Yanez for life, appreciate the $5. As a DS fan, maybe Daytona Speedway, watching
Suarez.
him go crazy. Oh, Daniel Suarez. As a Daniel Suarez fan, watching him go crazy tonight, I sort of wanted to fight him too. His inner Danny Suarez came out to play. We're back. Huevo amigo. #Go7.
I mean, he was aggressive tonight, but he ends up top 5. Pretty good debut in that car.
I love saying this one. Sean Trailer with the $20 won $6,000 on FanDuel DFS tonight and wanted to share. Happy that NASCAR is back, baby. Appreciate you sharing a little bit of your winnings.
Wow.
Spend it wisely. Don't spend it all in one place. Congratulations. And
That's awesome.
Gamble respectfully and appropriately. Andy Dixon, appreciate the $2 and then appreciate the other $2 where you said, is Victory Lane interviews back? Or our Victory Lane interviews back? Hope they are. We'll have to see what happens next time. I
Dragon
will
Ball Z.
appreciate the $5. I feel like y'all underrating Priest this season with 15th pick. My stock is high on him. I think he'll be on par with Reddick or Bowman. And he may be, but
Maybe we are.
we gotta wait and see what's next for Ryan Priest. RUSE, appreciate the $5. Between Priest, Hocevar, and the Road Course duo, who do you guys think has the most potential in this particular season?
SVG is probably going to win the most races, but as far as points finish, I'd probably go Priest.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got two of those getting into the chase.
I'll say high end at the end of the year, Zilich. Because if he gets it figured out at the end by the end of the year, he could be a real threat at the end of the year to be a spoiler.
Yeah. Out of all those, I see Priest having the best chase finish. As long as he's in the chase.
I agree.
Jensen, appreciate the $20 from you. Very generous. Unfortunately, missed NWP last week. Great to see you guys again. Looking forward to a great 2026 season. Sending as much warmth and aloha as I can. Stay safe, everyone. Appreciate that, Jensen, our friend out in good old Hawaii. Appreciate you tuning in.
Appreciate it.
Probably not even dark there yet.
Lucky.
Broden Lutz, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Crazy race. Anyone else notice no driver's name on the back window? Is that true? I don't think I noticed that.
I didn't notice that.
I did not notice. It would not shock me if that's another excuse to put a logo there.
Fig Newtons.
CR Jean, appreciate you. The generous $20. Clarifying an earlier point, I was talking about Nashville trucks.
Oh, yeah, for Priest being undefeated at a track. Yeah, that's true. Sorry about that, CR John. You're right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Immortal, appreciate the $2 from you. Now it's time to Daytona.
Daytona.
We harmonizing now? Daytona. Daytona. Daytona.
Daytona. Chris Cahill, appreciate the $5 Canadian. I was shocked how the booth was surprised that Priest was at the front despite his short track background. Exactly. If there was any driver who was meant to win in this craziness, it's Ryan Priest.
Yeah.
A Napa Racing fan of $2. A fuel mileage race at Bowman Gray only in NASCAR. And that is the final super chat of the night. Guys, show number 2. First show on DannyBTalks is completed. Eric got random driver in record time. And thus his prize is that he will be hosting NWP next week, next Wednesday night, right after Daytona 500 qualifying. You can check us out right there on Eric Eastet. Make sure you are subscribed to all 3 of our channels. At the end of the show, we're going to do the little collab feature where if you're watching this on replay, you can subscribe to all of our channels and the NWP Clips channel as well. But until then, I guess that's all for now, and we'll see you on Eric's channel next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations to Ryan Priest and RFK Racing. 2026 racing season is upon us. Let's do it. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Oh, crap. I didn't.
Drivers! Start your engine!
See plenty of carnage. Full head on them. Wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy.
It's a junkyard.
There's too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas. Gotta hang tough here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job.
10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bull. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raising no.
What the fuck are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots.
I don't care. Just let me drive.
What?